Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. If you don't know, get used to knowing. Because that is the anthem for this season, people. Welcome to the first Europa League post-match carnage on this channel. Because we've never been here before. But here we are, people. Post-match carnage. What was the team's name?
Nah, don't do that.
No. I didn't mean to do that. I swear to you, not out of disrespect, just out of old age, just memory loss. For 20-second memory loss. LASK.
Come on, you're starting the game like Liverpool did.
LASK 1, Liverpool 3, Europa League. The road to Dublin starts tonight in a brand new stadium in Austria. To discuss all with me, I have the wonderful Cav, and I have the amazing Colonel. What are you saying, people? Cav, how does it feel to get the Europa League cooler?
Yeah, cheers for that one, Grizz. I mean, Europa League, that's my level now. Fine. It could be worse. I could just not appear at all. So, look, Liverpool put me in this position, not me. So here we are. We've got to talk about the game because we played the game. But no, look, I'm pleased to see Liverpool play football, regardless of what competition it is. So I'm always going to be happy watching the guys play. You know, we talk about come on to the lineup, but different sort of players in there that we've not seen loads of, and we're sort of excited to see what they can produce. So, take the positives from every game we play and be excited about what this team can produce.
100%. You know what? I agree with you. You know that it's there was obviously, you know, when we knew that we're in the Europa League at the end of the last season, damp squib, we were like, Thursday nights, man, bollocks to all that. You know what I mean? We find something to do on a Thursday night. But come round Thursday night and on the eve of the game, we were thinking, yo, this is quite exciting. I mean, I don't know, Colonel, did you feel that way in any way, shape or form? Did you get excited?
No, I think the competition kind of took the sting out of the other competition as well. Because now I'm just looking at every game like another game. Yeah, let's just go there, do business, and get out. Because whether you know or you don't know, I've been back in the quad before we kick the first game off. So go in there, get another win. Doesn't have to be pretty. Doesn't have to be flashy. Get out of there, man. I don't care what competition it is. We're just gonna win everything. So that's
I
my
like
energy
that.
going into it.
I know, I like that. I like that energy. You know what? We've got for me so far, the comment of the day. If you're not first, you're last. That's the comment of the day. Let's see if anyone can beat that. Big up the man. Let's keep the likes up early. Come on, you already know. Gravenberch settling in nicely. We will talk about Gravenberch. We will talk about Dolk. We'll talk about Bejatic. We'll talk about every single one, pretty much, especially that first half. Even though we don't want to. What's going on with the audio? Is there a problem with the audio? Let me know. Someone's saying audio. Let me know. It's probably mine if there's any issue. Is everything all right with the audio, people? Let me know. Big up panel, Grizz, Cam, and Zoobs. Dan says, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Oh my God, come on. When can we talk about Endo? Calm on. Relax, man. Relax, guys. You guys are so aggy. But I guess, Cav, there's elements of the fan base, or a lot of the fan base, or some of the fan. I don't know. Is there something to be aggy about? To say that we should start better, regardless of the fact that we made 11 changes. First and foremost, did you anticipate 11 changes?
No, I didn't. No. I mean, we can go. I'm not sure we'll pull up the lineup. We can go through it. But the way Klopp spoke yesterday in the press conference, he said that this is a competition and we're going to compete. You know, the way he was talking was that he's going to take this competition seriously and that we're here to win, effectively. And that mentality doesn't change regardless of what competition you're in. You know, whether it's a Premier League game, Europa League game, League Cup or FA Cup, we're here to win. That's the standard of this club. So I think that being said, I thought it would be a sort of a side that would have both rotated players and what we would sort of class as first teamers, to be honest with you. So I expected as well, we'll come on to it. I expected Van Dijk to start because he's returning from his red card. He probably needs to get some minutes in the legs prior to playing West Ham. Khanage back from an injury. You'd say the same for him, just getting minutes into the legs, turn them over and make sure that he's sort of sharp enough to go into that West Ham game the same. So you do have two experienced guys in there. You would class Diaz as a starter now, as a first team man. But the rest of the side is probably, arguably every fan will see it differently with Nunes, but the rest of the side you would say is probably our, I don't like to say second string, but sort of the bench options, if you like, our rotation players. So I suppose it did end up mixed. That I didn't expect it to be that many changes. I thought Salah would be the one that would maybe still start, but we'll go through each player. I would just say overall with the lineup, I was quite pleased to see all these guys selected from the off because I was excited to see what they could do.
As my man Sasito joins us, Sas, how are you, my friend? You're good.
I'm good.
Forgot about.
I'm good, boys. How are you?
There's you calling me while I'm live. A typical
Sorry,
meeting.
man. Sorry.
We forget what time it is, man. I forgot who we were playing to start off the show. Like Cav had to help me. I totally forgot. But we're just discussing the lineup, man. Was you shocked to see it? Cav's like kind of happy, kind of excited with it. A few surprises in there. What was you? What was the standout for you to sort of look forward to, or maybe not?
It's a good question. I think first half, to be honest with you, obviously, I think we showed up thinking that it was going to be a walk in the park type of thing.
You reckon?
Yeah, a little bit. We were a little bit, every time you talk about the UEFA Cup, we're like, we'll be in Dublin, we'll be there. We're going to, I don't know what, listen, obviously players are far more professional than that, but I just sensed that we thought it was going to be easier. Then I was quite impressed with the stadium. I didn't even know what their stadium was going to look like. So then I thought, it's a proper game, this. There's me sounding very sort of arrogant. But first half, listen, I think we were sloppy, bit lackluster. Obviously, they scored a worldie. I was kind of a bit disappointed, but never worried, if that makes
no, it makes sense.
I thought Endo was, I was maybe expecting a little bit more. I thought first half, I think Gravenberch definitely sort of just the way he runs, the way you can tell he's got technique, right? The way he treats the ball, the way he receives the ball. He looked, for me, he looked quite impressive. And I was a bit wild playing Bajcetic where he decided to play him.
Colonel Sass is saying a few players out of position, impressed with Gravenberch. Shall I be honest with you? I wasn't impressed with anyone on the pitch. I'm not going to lie. I thought Doak started off really well. I thought Doak had the beating of his man every time. And with the lineup, everyone was excited. I'm sure Cav the most about seeing Stefan Bajcetic back in the lineup. I was not surprised to see him right back in that role because we brought in Endo to play these kind of games. So overall, it kind of made sense, the lineup. I just wasn't happy that Diaz is starting and pretty much played the whole 90 minutes. I don't know what you thought about the lineup. That was my overall thoughts.
When I saw the lineup, I shoot it to Cav immediately. I'm like, yo, is this a real lineup, bro? Does this look like throwing darts at a board, man? The lineup is weird. Bajcetic at right back, but I thought it would have been enough for like a 0-0, maybe like a 1-0 lead at halftime. Then we bring on the big boys and finish off the game. I don't go into these games and I can't tell fans how to go into them. But if you see this lineup and then you're gonna come out here and say players was poor, this was poor, you're not really respecting the lineup. That's 11 changes from the last game. That's a completely different team. One of that team ever played together. So one of Khanage and VVD played with Bajcetic at right back. One of Bajcetic ever been at right back. So if you look at the team, you have to be like that. This is a new team. It's a new time. So when I saw the lineup, I showed it to Cav. Cav said he's excited to see what the team does, and I'm like, okay, I'm excited to see what these players have to offer. So first time, many of them are running out in the team. First starts for a few of them this season. So with the lineup being 1-0 down, I mean that goal. You can nitpick at it all you want. The one goal was just a bang on. those go in, you just have to be like, well played to the other team. Some of the passes were sloppy, like I said, first time.
Yeah, the build up to it was sloppy, wasn't it?
But it's to be expected for this team. If this team played 2-3 games or even a game before, I can be like, yeah, you got to do better in your second game out. So Dork, I think it's his first start, even in this competition. You have to just kind of use this as the first data to be collected and then judge everything else based on this data we've seen. And guess what? The data we have thus far is 3 wins from being a goal down in 3 consecutive games almost. It's like the data is there. The data means don't panic. We got this. The data is we got answers for every question. 10 men down, we got an answer for that. A goal down, we got an answer for that. And if you're judging the team, start in a weaker team with a stronger bench, and we win the game 3-1, that's also, you should give your manager a round of applause for his tactics. His tactics is, I'm going to send a team out there to feel them out, tire them out, bring the big guns on, finish them off. That's a tactic, man. It's 90 minutes, and we won at the end of 90 minutes. I don't want to hear no one moaning about the first 45. The game isn't won in the first 45. Would you rather win it in the first 45 and be on the back foot at the last 90? No, I'd rather flow this way. So this might be something we have to get used to, Grizz, and we can talk on it some more, where we're just going to sort a lot of games slow and grow into them and finish them off 3-1.
Kev, we did discuss that on the few shows that we've done so far this season about it feels different. It feels almost like the 1920 season, where we kept, the way to describe it was we kept, do you remember 1920, guys, where every game, not every game, but a lot of the games we went behind, we found ways to win it. Do you remember? We kept, and that was one of the things we used to praise that team about. Yo, these guys always work out how to win that game.
Yeah.
There's hints of it in this game, in this team, in this squad, this set of players. There's a newfound mentality that had been on the wane. And this is why we're getting a little bit giddy. That is this mentality Giants 2.0.
Yeah, and you know what? You're right to sort of do the contrast between arguably the best sort of side we've seen for Liverpool for a long time. That side that won the Champions League, won the Premier League. Because the year that we won the Premier League, we
second best comment of the night. you know what I mean, Simon. 2019 stroke 2020. Sorry. 1920 was even before mine and Sass's time. Now, come on, man.
But in that title winning season, I think it was 13 games we won by just a single goal.
Wow.
So that shows that there was a mental resilience there. There was a belief that we could hold out. We had nerve, nerves of steel during that season. And although we are going behind in games, I think that's the 4th time in 5 games we've gone a goal behind. That's not a great thing at all. Being able to recover and having the mental strength to recover and the collectiveness and the sort of teamwork to regain a position in the game to go on and win effectively is a great skill to have. But we do have to focus on the fact that we're going a goal down. And there's not excuses, but there's reasons today. It's a change side, as you've discussed. I'm not too sure on the pitch condition. It looks very choppy.
Yeah.
And it sounds like excuses. I know rival fans especially, they don't like to hear it because Klopp's often spoken about the wind and the pitch condition and, snow and all these kind of things. And it often comes across as excuses, but it's a real thing. The pitch wasn't very playable today. And we're used to playing on sharp, nice, skiddy surfaces, and they weren't able to do that. So that played a part. But what I would say, and I'd say the same for almost every start we've sort of had this season, bar probably Villa, is sometimes it's tactical and ultimately the book stops with the manager. Sometimes I just look at the team playing and I think the touch and the control and the passing from each player just isn't good enough. Now, that's nothing that Klopp can do. He's set up his tactics. He's given them instructions. They're all fit. They're ready to start. It's a rotated side. When the ball comes into your feet, you just have to be good enough for it not to bounce off of you. You just have to receive it with an idea in mind of where the next pass is going to go. And when you try and play that pass, make sure it connects. especially in that first half today, the passing through the lines, the idea was right, but the execution was often so poor, and that was by everybody. And that's something you could probably say for every game this season. So it really is the foundation to build momentum. It's the foundation to build tempo. If you simply can't touch and pass, you ain't going to get anywhere. And that's what's frustrating. And that's for the players to look at themselves at the start of the games and go, I'm going to get my first touch right here. And I'm going to make sure I can just play simple passes and build into the game. Because at the minute, I think they're trying to do it, but we'll be a goal down. And that's just not good enough. So, mentality is one thing, but we need to focus on starting these games better.
Revenite says Simicast fell over a few times in that first half. The pitch was ass. But look, the pitch does make a difference. And when people say it's the same for both teams, if you're used to playing on a certain type of pitch and know when to try to control a ball and when to play safety, when to play percentages, it does make a difference. If you're used to a carpet like Liverpool are, then it does take time to get used to. Sass, that sounds like excuses, but I think it's factual and it showed, because that first half, Cav's right. We got to address it. Even though we want to get onto the second half and the good bits, that first half was poor. Passes were going astray. It was like basic lack of control. There were some big culprits, and I think it's on. We're fair channel. We're fair channel. We got to call it out when it's needed to be called out. Look, Endo makes his full debut in terms of starting. I beg your pardon. What did you think of him? What did you think of Endo's performance?
He was okay in bits. There was the bit where what was that? I can't remember whether it was second half or where he won the ball and then he immediately lost it. On the edge of the area, and you're thinking, "Come on, just keep it simple," kind of thing. But I was thinking to myself, "What's the best thing about the first half?" And I was thinking, it's our kit. I really like the kit and the color and all that. Nice. That was about it. The kit was fly, but. Simicast wasn't great.
Yeah, Simicast. The senior players.
Yeah. I mean, the only one I thought was playing well was really, of course, Doak, Gravenberch, as we've touched upon, in bits, Gravenberch. And I thought VVD looked solid at the back. And that was it. There wasn't really much to write home about with respect to the first half. Pitch was definitely heavy. It just looked, and it was cutting up quite easily, you felt. But, again, excuses, I suppose. But it does make a difference.
It does make a difference, especially when you've got the technical kind of players, Look,
Grizz, I was just going to say sorry to interrupt you, but about Diaz. I know you're saying, why was he playing the whole 90 minutes, basically? He's been out. I mean, I know he started this season, he's been back and all the rest of it. But if you think of how many games he's missed last year, sorry, did I cut out there? I just thought it was good for him to get game time. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm back. I was just saying about Diaz. He's been injured and out for so long that I thought it's okay. He maybe needs it in the legs, to play. But I know what you mean. You may have taken him off earlier, but then at the end,
Sorry, go on. Go on. I'll let you finish.
I don't want to jump onto the second half, but at the end, that sort of that trident up front was, looked menacing.
Look, I know you want to get onto the second half. We all want to get onto the second half. We all want to get into the second half. But first, I like addressing the pros and the cons.
For sure.
And Colonel, the cons were, again, Simicast stepping in for his first start of the season. It's difficult. It's difficult to step in just randomly in a mixed up team. Just like it's very difficult for a young Stefan Bejitic, who's been playing as a 6 all last season, and then is asked to do a total different role again in a patched up team. What did you make the two fullbacks? I thought that's where we really struggled. The calmness and the control that we bring from Robertson and Trent, it's apparent, isn't it, when they're not on the pitch?
No, I think what's apparent is we need to stop judging people off Robbo and Trent because they offer different things as fullbacks. Like any right back we get, we would say doesn't offer anything going forward. When have any right back offered anything going forward besides Trent and these modern day right back? You see what I'm trying to say? So when you look at him defensively, you can be like, well, he doesn't really have the pace to deal with certain wingers. You could say that, but then that would be a lazy assessment because you only have one game to really measure him. So once again, this is just the first data collected. So everything he does, if he should be in a right back position, should be measured off this game. Whether it's a better performance or a poor performance, that's what you have. To say, oh, it's different from what we're used to, he's not gonna come on and do what Trent does. The same thing with Joey when he was there. You can't measure them off, okay, Sydney, measure him off what he's doing, what his task was. And if you don't understand what his task was, then you can't really criticize him. The things that Simicast was doing poor was like ball retention, ball control, and a few passes. Could say poor decision making. Basetic, he wasn't really winning most of his challenges over there in the right hand side as well. So those are just the only thing you can judge him off of. And like you said, it's their first game, so you can't really say, oh, it's apparent. Them playing with VVD and Khanage should have calmed him a little bit more, because those two are the starting center backs. So it's not like they're playing with a makeshift back four. They are what the makeshift element is. So you could say, how are they working with the starting, back line? I mean, obviously they didn't have Allison back there. I didn't really think Kelleher did anything wrong as far as organizing them or working with them. So them two don't really have any excuse. As for the rest of the guys that got changed out. So as far as what the fullbacks offer in the game, I think Simi was good going forward. He offered himself, overlapped a lot. Defensively, I didn't think anything go down his side, but he was still dawdling on the ball a little bit too much. I do think Basetic could have been a little bit more clinical with some of his challenges, and when he's being like isolated one-on-one, I see the opposition coming up on the better end of him. Other than that, man, that's all you can really judge him off of.
Yeah.
No goal came down either side, so that's still, it's not the brightest fullback performance. The goal came from a set piece. Are you going to blame a defender for that? So if you don't have any defensive woes or quarrels, that's a clean sheet for the defense in my opinion.
No, I think you've first time in a long time made a lot of sense. I'm not gonna lie, man. You came with some facts there, and the more you spoke, the more I was realizing, harsh.
Yeah, I'm just saying, don't jump off the plane without the parachute. Make sure you check your, that's all I'm saying.
No, I know what you're saying, and you said it well. I'm not gonna lie, Cav, because it's true. Like, obviously we're gonna assess the whole game, but the first half was just more us being really crap and them just running around a lot, and a new stadium, the biggest game of their lives. They were like, we have big Liverpool in town. So they just gave it their all. We were awful on the ball. And I guess they have the highlight of the game, I guess, with the goal of the game. Look, Zoob's right. There's no one to blame, really. Maybe the sloppiness of giving the corner away in the first place. It was a little bit lax. Great strike. Surely even Allison don't stop that, right?
Yeah, I think they'll probably have. I don't think you can blame anybody for the goal. Look, the play up into the goal and conceding the corner, it's not great. We're not playing well, but corners happen even if you are playing well. So you should judge it from the point in which the corner's taken and how you've set up defensively. The shape looked like we were sort of in the sort of 18 sort of 6-yard box, defending the sort of core area and then picking up each man, and then we sort of do this mixed sort of zonal and man mark kind of situation, but always round would have backed ourselves to win the initial header and just clear it. They catch us out quite simply. They have two men sort of on the inside the box and they leave one man free, so they effectively had three in and around the zone, and we were never going to commit because we'd have moved two away from our defensive setup to go and mark them men. So there was always going to be a man free. The key was, from their point of view, making sure that pass connected perfectly. And he did. He picked out his man. At that point in which you recognise as a Liverpool player, that ball's gone into that man on the edge of the box. You need to run out. You need to press it. You need to close it. And I think it's Gravenberch who's the closest man to do that. And he somewhat gets out there. He turns his back a little bit. But look, the ball's already over to the man. The man's already connected with it. He connects with it brilliantly. It bounces. I'm not sure if it's a half volley, but it bounces and he hits it so clean. And you know a ball's hit clean when you watch the replay. The ball's not spinning. You can still, as the ball's traveling from his boot to the back of the net, you can still see the same detail on the ball. That's when you know it's hit well, because it's not spinning at all. So he connects with it brilliantly. There's power behind it. It's gone through men. Kelleher makes an attempted sort of dive, but it was sort of in vain, really. He was never really going to get there. And it's a great goal. It's a great goal. You know, let's face it. If we scored that goal and it was a Szoboszlai on the end of the hit.
Well, it was very similar to the Szoboszlai goal, wasn't it?
Yeah. We'd have all been like, yeah, you know, fantastic goal, exceptional. And look, it's a slap around the face. It's a wake-up call, or at least it should be, to say you're in the Europa League now. You're there based on merit, how you performed last season. These teams, as you said, they're going to want to, it's their biggest sort of game of their life, probably playing against Liverpool. And this is football, and these guys train every day. They're capable of hitting a ball, right, at any given time. So you shouldn't rest on your laurels, and you should defend properly. And you know, we weren't at 6s and 7s, we weren't at C's defensively,
No.
but it just wasn't good enough. And the goal is, yes, it's a special goal, but it's kind of, we deserved it based on how we started the game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, 100%. There's a couple of, so go on, Sass.
No, I was going to say, if you notice, actually, they did quite well. They sort of block off Diaz.
Well, this is what I was going to say. This is what I was going to say. There's two schools of thought. So Sonny says, I mean, technically it was Gravenberch's poor marking, closing down, turning his back to block. But hey, let's blame the defense. And then, where's it gone? Where is it? So then Mike mentions they blocked off Gravenberch and Diaz from the corner. And if 100%. so, that's smart on their part, right? Because Sass, they were never going to outplay us. They were never going to outpass us, outrun us. They had to be different.
You say that.
True. But over the course of the game, they knew they're going to be second best in most aspects. So they have to think different outside the box. And if they had planned that and thought that, then kudos to them, right?
The fair dues. It was a great set piece.
Yeah, a lovely touch. It's one of those ones where you practice, lovely touch and a crack. And like Cav says, if one of our boys done that, we would have said, yeah, straight off the training ground. But did we have the desired reaction in your opinion? Because that goal was quite early.
Yeah.
Up to half time, still nothing.
Minutes.
13 minutes in. Still nothing up to half time, Sass. Still. Or did you see any difference? Nunes was showing a bit, he looked like on his game.
Yeah, I to be honest with you, I could sense this it was a bit of a kick, obviously a kick in the teeth, but you could just sense the frustration. I could see, I was a bit worried about Nunes because I could see the frustration coming into him, although I think he held it together. But no, man, there wasn't much punch after that, to be honest. Look, we had 70% of the ball, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but we weren't really doing much with it. It was kind of petering out, and they were sort of defending well.
I think your Wi-Fi is giving us issues, isn't it?
And getting the blocks in, and every time, like Barry said, actually Tsimikas put in a couple of good crosses. Oh man!
So try coming in and out.
Is that me?
Try coming in and out. We're losing you. We
sure.
Hear you. I know your pearls of wisdom. We lost you there. All those pearls of wisdom gone to waste. Colonel, did you anticipate anything at halftime, or did you want him to send out the boys again and you fix this? I don't want to rely on the big guns too early, too soon. Come on, fix up. You're used to the pitch now. You're used to the pressing, the strength and weaknesses of their players. You've lined them up, so to speak, like you were saying. There was a much better tempo and start to the second half, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's very reminiscent to the Wolves game, where if you look at both the lineups in the beginning of the game and even up until halftime, every change LASK made would make the team weaker, where every change we make would make our team stronger. So it's inevitable that the longer the game went on, the more we'll get back into it. It would just be a matter of, can we finish these chances when we get them? Elliott, I think, his passing was a little off. Diaz passing was a little off. Nunes' decision-making wasn't as clinical as you'd hope it to be. I see Elliott put a beautiful ball on his head. Should have done better with that. There's a few crosses going across the box should have been a little bit more, pace behind it in the transition. The whole up play, ball getting stuck underneath the player's feet. It's almost like, they're playing too fast. They're playing ahead of themselves, or it just wasn't quite gelling. You know what I mean? And as the second half went on, it was only a matter of time. I thought the pen was soft. I'm not trying to like chalk it off or anything like that. I did think the pen was a bit soft. I'm not really gonna argue pen or no pen. I just say it's a soft pen. There's some pen you're like clear, no debate. This one, if someone wants to debate it, I'll let them cook, say what they had to say. And
let's get into it. Let's see what the others. Let's see what the guys think. Look, what I'm gonna say. I hear your soft shout, yeah, but do you remember a couple of weeks back we saw something similar? I can't remember which game it was now. Damn, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a similar thing where the penalty was given for the challenge once the ball's gone. Because to me, that's still a foul, guys. To me, well, if that's on the that's a foul. That's dangerous. That's a dangerous challenge. He hasn't got the ball. The guy's got to the ball first, and he's taken the guy. That to me, that's a foul. Anywhere else on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. And even though the ball's played and it went off the pitch and there's no continuation of football at that point, it's a break in play. I thought, well, if it was a throw-in, say it went out for a throw-in, you'd still blow it for a foul, right? Even though the ball.
Well, I think Grizz, I think what you're trying to remember was the letter of the law is if the ball is still in play when that challenge is made, they'll give it. So that's why it was given. I know a lot of people don't even know this, but you can go looking back and look at this still. If he makes the play on the ball, if the ball goes out and it goes past the goal line and then the challenge comes in, ball is out of play. But if the ball is still within play, that's what will be given. And that's why I say it's one of them soft ones. So it's not about it going out of play. The ball was actually still in play while that challenge came in by the letter of the law. That's why it's a penalty.
Sass, was it a penalty in your opinion?
Yeah, listen, I thought it was soft, but it was a bit reckless by the defender after the ball.
I think it was reckless, man. I'm going to do a poll. Yeah, you guys carry on. I'm going to set a poll in the convo.
For me, it was a bit studs up, but I thought we don't usually get those sort of pens. So I think, listen, I think I'm with Zubair. It was soft, I think, generally speaking. But I could see why the ref gave it. Sorry, that's properly sitting on the fence, isn't it? But,
yeah, that's a proper sitting on the fence one, man. I'm going to put a poll in the chat. I don't know what you guys think, but was you guys okay with Nunes taking it?
I'm okay with Van Dijk giving him the ball. Who VVD gives it to, I'm not going to quarrel. That's the captain. The captain said, big man, it's on you. That's all I'm okay with. I just love to see that piece. If Nunes had ran up, grabbed it, I'd been like, I don't know if you should be grabbing that, But because it was given from the captain, I'm like, hey, I'm in line with the captain, man. So yeah, that was big.
We've spoken about his record before, haven't we, Cav? Like, he's got actually a good record for penalties. And we've discussed if Salah should be kept on penalties. Luckily, not luckily, I don't know. Salah wasn't on the pitch. Suddenly, there was no Milner on the pitch, no Salah on the pitch. Who else has taken a penalty for us? Fabinho in the past. No Fabinho on the pitch. Anyone else recently?
That's about it, really. Main penalty takers last season, yeah.
Yeah, so suddenly there's a decision. No Trent, because Trent would probably have been one of the candidates. McAllister wasn't on the pitch yet, was he?
Not yet.
No. I think it came down to maybe Elliott and Nunes.
No, Virgil or Nunes, I'd say. Virgil's got a strike on him, I would have been comfortable with Virgil taking it. I don't know what you guys think.
I thought Virgil was going to take it because he was holding on to the ball. I thought he was going to take
it as well. I'm like, he's going to ross it, but then he gave it to the striker, and I'm like, that's respect. So,
yeah. I think it's the right thing to do. Look, nobody had a good first half, in my opinion, right?
No, I don't think so.
And Nunes, for me, he often plays like he's still trying to control the ball. Do you know what I mean? He's running with it. And most players have got the ball and they're thinking about the next pass. This guy spends about 5 strides still trying to control it with his head down. And it drives me mad a little bit, right? And that's why sometimes he overruns it or whatever. Look, he's effective always round. But he wasn't having a great game. And be it that it was 1-0 down, entire 45 minutes have just passed, if not a bit more, of us not playing well. In my head, I'm thinking it should be Nunes. He's the striker. He should be the guy that gets the goal to build his confidence, and the guy that we should turn to and rely on. That should be his area of expertise, is finishing, right? Regardless if it's in game or off the spot. So it's the right man to give it to. But I'm not going to lie. The sort of game, I was the eternal sort of optimist. And then the 45 minutes passed and I was slowly waning towards the other. So when we got the pen, I was a bit pessimistic. I'm not going to lie. I was a bit like, if he misses this, it's just going to be one of them days at the office kind of thing. So I'm not going to lie. I didn't know if he would score. And I was a little bit like erring on the side of, he's going to screw this up. But he finishes it brilliantly. Right in the corner.
We were all bricking it, I think.
Yeah.
He's got, but that's what his third goal now in that same corner, penalty or finish. He likes that bottom left finish, doesn't he, Sass? We don't want to give too many secrets of our main man away on this show. You know what I mean? If any scouts are watching for opposition analysis, you know what I mean? But he does like that bottom corner and the left finish. I think he had a very good game. I don't. Yeah. I think he's.
I'm a big Nunes admirer, but I don't think so. You know, I've got.
It's difficult. I'll tell you why it's difficult. Because he's playing with different midfield, right? So he's been making runs, and he's just about building a rapport with the likes of Szoboszlai and McAllister. Suddenly, he's got Endo, Elliot, and who's the other one? Gravenberch in there. Then he's got Doak on the right. He's building up a relationship, rapport with Mohamed Salah. Suddenly, he's got Doak, who's a total different type of player to Mohamed. So I think individually, he was doing better things. It may not look pretty to the eye, but Sass, he's not gonna, I keep saying it, he's not gonna look pretty on the eye, guys. It's either he's effective for us or he's not effective for us. He will never be this Bobby Firmino type player.
For sure. Listen, for me, I think he grew into the game. The longer the game went on, he looked better and better, right? You know? And I just sense he looks a bit more buff from last season. He's been in that famous AXA gym, I think. He just looks like he's got a bit more confidence about him.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I don't know. Listen, maybe I'm reading too much into the body language. And of course, we're all willing him to sort of bag 20 this season and, you know, and do well. Not that he did too badly last season, but I completely get where Cal's coming from. He does, you know, he does some sublime things. And then in the next move, he'll do something that you think, bloody hell, he can't trap it, kind of thing. You know, he can't trap the ball. And that's an over, you know, simplification. But I felt, listen, I mean, we've paid so much money for him. We're going to need to bide our time. We're going to need to back him, the fans, the club, and I think the team, his teammates clearly, and the management are doing so. And I think, you know, he's a unique type of striker, you know. And I just think the variation we have up front and the combination.
Deadly. Oh, your Wi-Fi is playing up again.
I don't know.
Barring City,
it's loading up there.
I don't think anyone else has got that in terms of the mix of play. Sorry, mate. That's me jumping in and out, aren't I? I don't know what's going on with my.
Yeah.
Let me try. I'll try something and I'll come back.
All
and
right.
If not.
Yeah, cool.
I don't want to disrupt your momentum and your vibes. So
no, fair play. We catch up if not.
Let me go and I'll try one more time. If not, then khalas. I'll leave you all to it. All right.
Cool. Daz makes a very good point, by the way. My apologies. He's forgot to hit the like button on the way in, but it's been rectified now. It's like Liverpool. Liverpool forgot to turn up in the first half, but rectified it in the second half. Hit the likes if you love Liverpool. You understand? Yeah. So do what Daz says. Daz, big up Daz, by the way. We miss you on the call-in show. Me and Colonel will be back Saturday, so we'll see you then. We did rev it up, Colonel. We didn't, even with the players on the pitch, we revved it up. But then the artillery came on. And then it was just a matter of time. When Szoboszlai and McAllister stepped on the pitch. I haven't heard you speak about Szoboszlai. Me and Cavan, we wax lyrical about him on the Red Fellas. I haven't heard you speak about this guy. What do you make of him?
I want to say he's in a weird way. This is him. The way we've been playing, it's him. What I mean by it's him is you will notice in the start of the games, if you watch it back now, you'll realize he grows into the game. Like he has second win, third win, and fourth win in him. So he grows into game, and then thus in turn we grow into game with him. I think he's been our tempo, to be honest with you. He is our tempo. If the other players come in, and Thiago was a tempo when he's on the pitch, we'll look to Thiago for stuff to happen. This guy is our actual tempo. Our levels rise and fall with this guy. If he's having a stinker or a slow start, we're having a stinker and a slow start. If we're going into the game, he's going into the game. So that's basically who he is. He is our rhythm. And to be honest, I would say he's our most consistent player.
Don't tell me your Wi-Fi is like, is it just me and Cav? Like, is this what's going on today?
Oh yeah, that's the worst. You was dropping so many facts. You know, you spoke about him so.
Do you know what
he? Perfect, Sabiri.
Honestly, it was better than me, and it was much better than me and Cav could have described Dominic Szoboszlai. You were so cool. And then right at the end, your Wi-Fi went as well, like Sass's, man. Let's try.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there still, but here
no, we got the gist of it. We got the gist of it, though.
Okay, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. It wasn't a clean sheet, but we got the win.
Cav, we did step it up, and look, we're not going to focus on him too much because we've done him, but everyone else seemed to get a lift, and that's a great sign of a great player. When you kind of know, yeah, the artillery is here. Even though he's been here, 5-6 games, you know, like everything's going to be all right type of thing when he's striding onto the pitch. I loved it. I'm not going to lie. He gives me goosebumps in every way. Like McAllister was much better as well. I see bits of McAllister. He looks sharper. He looks stronger than the other day, more alert. And Elliott picked up his game. I was critical of him. A lot of people were critical of Elliott at halftime. But I love this kid. He just doesn't give up. And I thought Elliott grew into the game a lot. Was you impressed with Elliott's another cameo back for 90 minutes of Elliott?
Yeah, I think in that first half, Elliott was sort of playing in deeper spaces than he'd have liked. He's trying to come deep for the ball, try to pick up the ball, play some passes, try and help the team get a little bit of rhythm. And not to steal Zabiri's word, but to try and help that sort of tempo, to try and help that control, to try and be the build-up play. Whereas when McAllister and Szoboszlai came on the pitch, they just took control of midfield. So then Elliott's able to occupy areas further up the pitch. He's on the edge of the box more often than not. And his game is very much selfless. He tries to pick it up. He tries to make a movement and a run so that he can give it to the others. He'll try and link up, but he's not picking up the ball to try and create a chance for himself and shoot. He's very much trying to slip someone else in or make a run to create space for someone else, or just try and be that man that someone can bounce the ball off and stuff. And he can only do that when he's in and around the 18-yard box, if you like. So that's why his game did improve. And he's a very sort of quick thinker as well. He gets the ball, it's out his feet almost quick. And that's great for tempo, but your game can't be stagnating before you get to that. It's got to flow from start to finish for his style of game to be effective. So he naturally improved with having Szoboszlai and McAllister on the pitch because the overall control was better, the tempo was better, you know, the pace of the passing and the crispness of the passing was better. So he did improve, and he was a better player in the second half for it. But you know, McAllister and Szoboszlai, when they came on the pitch, you kind of just sit back and go, okay, cool.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, we've discussed Liverpool and the players about the pitch and all that. Why didn't Szoboszlai and McAllister struggle with the pitch? It kind of makes our points a bit mute. Don't you think?
Yeah,
or maybe they're very good observers. They watch the game from the touchlines. They weren't just chilling and saying, "Yo, we're away here. Yeah, relax. Let the guys do the job." Maybe they were concentrating and focused on the pitch isn't great. You got to focus, give it that extra bit of attention and care on the ball. Yeah. He made a couple of runs, Colonel, and you think to yourself, "Bruv, this guy's got a turbo on his shoulders, man. When he wants to lift off, you know." He's a sight, man. And Elliott picked up his game. Nunes picked up his game. Diaz picked up his game. And I thought Gomez done very well when he came on as well.
Yeah, you're right. It's one of those things where people are not like really looking at the combos. you have to look at the combo. Elliot and Doc, I
good
think,
point.
was a risky combo because Elliot sort of need people to feed off of. And if you're not sure in your game or sure in yourself in the team, you're gonna hurt the way Elliot plays. So once more reassured players came on, it then give Elliot the confidence to be like, okay, I can go into the game, I can do this, and gives him a bit more freedom. Elliot isn't of the level to hold anyone's hand at the moment, but he's the type of person, team player that you can hold his hand and we can go on. Gomez, yeah, I think he came on. I think he made a few poor decisions, but overall, it was good, man. It's like the combos I even mentioned in the Wolves game. There's certain players they just don't really link up well because they need to feed off better players in and around them. So once the combos started improving, we started improving in the game. Like I said, when you're playing these games, and shout out to my manager Klopp, when you're playing these games, you need to send a scouting team. Let's see what the terrain is like. Report back to headquarters and tell us what we need to do. If you start the game and you start in the wrong studs, you got the wrong boots on, you're gonna be slipping all over the place. Then you can report back to the bench. Yo, you see the boots you got? It's not gonna work for them. Change that. So I think these were the scouting that Sabazala and McAllister got. Because once they got on the pitch, I did think I'm like, yo, how do you like? What I'm trying to say, but it made sense now. It made a whole bunch of sense, and it's very tactical. And Klopp is digging into a tactical bag and saying, listen, see this guy Sabir, he talking about I don't know tactics. I'm gonna show him. And he's showing me, man. I tell you, Klopp talks to me. I don't talk to you, man. He talks to me.
He definitely talks to you because
that tactics.
Exactly. Klopp's definitely talking to you this season because you spent last season harassing him. And Cav, we've mentioned Klopp last season and everything as well. But again, spot on. Everything seemed constructed. Everything seemed like a plan, like you were saying earlier. And the changes made all the difference. Not that, like I think we scored without Mohamed Salah on the pitch, didn't we? The second goal.
We did, yeah.
Yeah. So the second goal again. What a move. I know you didn't think Nunes was great, but I thought it was another improvement on this. That's twice now where he's been involved in a orthodox number 9 role. Like when he set up the other day where he spun off and played the ball through to Salah, who tapped it in for Gakpo. He done something similar this time for Gravenberch to go through. What a pass. Hopefully we see more of this because we know Gravenberch has got the lungs and almost the gracefulness with the ball to make that second man run.
Yeah, do you know what? I said nobody was good in the first half. Actually, Gravenberch had the best moments for me. One thing that really surprised me is that he would often be running with the ball and he would chop and change direction. You sometimes you watch football so often and so much that you kind of a midfielder picks it up, he plays it off to the centre back, he's running towards the right back, he's just going to play that curved ball in front of his right back to run onto and stuff. But he would chop and change. He'd change the angle of the pass. He would change the angle of his body, and suddenly he's going from left to right and stuff. And I like that about him because it must be so hard for the defensive team to pick up on it because they're all shifting over, and then this guy's chopped, and suddenly he's reversing the ball to the left back and stuff. So that I'm not sure what you call it: vision, awareness on the pitch, dynamism, maybe with his movement
everything
on the ball. I thought there was moments in that first half where I was like, oh. With Zabozala and McAllister on the pitch, if that links up, midfielders are going to find it so hard to pick these guys up because they're going to be so dynamic in their passing.
So check this out. I think we're so close to having the perfect player in that role. Hear me out, guys. If only we've got the combination of Gakpo's striking ability of the ball and finishing, and the gracefulness of Gravenberch. If we combine the two powers, I think we've got the best box-to-box midfielder right there, attributes-wise. It's just that Gakpo hasn't got the touch, I don't think, and the fleet-footedness what Gravenberch has. Like, Gakpo's more of a robotic mover with the ball, but he's got a thunderous strike, left foot, right foot. And Gravenberch has got all of the gracefulness and the quick, nimble feet. just don't think he shoots enough, or he's not got the confidence in his shooting. Combine the two,
Yeah, you'd have
scary hours.
You'd have a heck of a player. But look, we'll come back to the goal. The ball's played into Gravenberch. He's out on the right, and you can see the picture forming. Diaz is running. He's getting ahead of his man. He's so far and wide, and you're watching it, and you're thinking, just get it over. Just get it over. But as I'm thinking it, I'm thinking, he probably won't, because he's got to get onto this ball. He's got to readjust his body shape to, and then generate the power to get it all the way over. Plus
And a bubbly pitch. And a bubbly pitch.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, as Gravenberch is sort of coming onto the ball that he ultimately plays, I'm thinking he's probably going to take an extra touch here. I don't think he can generate the power from what his body positioning and how he's running onto the ball to get it quite over there, but he does, and it's fantastic. He gets it inch perfect. You know, he plays the ball with such accuracy, such pace and power that Diaz, you know, just has to run in and finish it off. But the pass, I thought, was brilliant, especially the way he was coming onto it. You know, I just didn't think he was able to generate the power, let alone the accuracy. Angle. Yeah.
You know what? We've bigged up the pass. I know Colonel has to go. So I'm going to, Colonel, before you go, we asked a few questions about Luis Diaz. And you earlier in the session spoke about comparing him to players that are already playing there. You know, we spoke about don't expect Trent, don't expect Robertson, don't expect Sadio. Right. But Diaz is showing me movements that I personally, and what the fuck do I know? But I personally wanted to see from him in terms of make those Sadio Mane runs into the box, become our goal scorer as well as a provider, because Sadio was king at getting the very vital, important goal. And a lot of those movements were Sadio's trademarks. Luis Diaz is on those moves right now, bro.
Yeah, but it was only in the second half, unfortunately. First half, he was trying to like create. And he has this moments in the game where he holds on to the ball and invite a challenge or look for a challenge, and Simeon was clear on an overlap, or there was clearly a 1-2-1 in the middle. So some of his decision making, he tends to be the guy like, okay, let me hold it and make something happen. Where I told you, I call this move anti-football. You get the ball, flow with the game. It doesn't have to stop with you. So when he does that, it allowed the opposition to always get back into shape. It always allows them to kind of set up in a way to counter what he's trying to do. But in the second half, he did go into his Sadio Mane bag. It might have been an instructional thing where Klopp is like, yo, you know, when the ball is on the other side, we don't want you hugging wide. You need to come in, because there was a ball that Dork flashed right across the face of the goal. Sadio Mane would have been backstick tucking that in if it missed Bobby. So one of the things he has to work on is also understanding, yeah, you're a left winger / striker. Like there's no one else going to be at the backstick. That's your position. So there should be no ball flashed across that box where it's going out for a throw-in or it's going out for a goal kick because you're not at the backstick. You see what I'm trying to say? And it was a beautiful ball put across, man. They were both in the box, but none of them was anticipating it. And you looked at Dork now, you're like, well, didn't get a goal or assist because players weren't in the right position. But for Diaz, he grows into the game as well. I do think he receives the instruction from the manager and the coaches, and I do think he takes them on very well. His attitude isn't, you know, dropping the shoulder. You're not seeing him kicking up a fuss. You know, always putting a thumbs up, you know, good ball, good effort, good vision, stuff like that. So I'm not expecting many things from him. What I'm expecting for him is to understand that he has to be more dynamic as far as creating and finishing and being in the right position.
Colonel, you leaving us, yeah?
Yeah, I want to leave you, but I want to leave you with this one thing that I don't want people to overlook, because it's something you have to be vigilant on. We're up against it this season. Within the first 5 minutes of the game, Gravenberch got hacked down, and it's like one of those challenges where if the ref gives a card, you're not complaining. If he doesn't, you're like, well, it's early in the early days. McAllister put his hand on someone early days, got a yellow. It kind of shifted the tempo of the game. Okay, it happened to us. We can't just sit back and be like, oh, I was too early for a yellow. Bro, that's a clear yellow if I've ever seen one in the beginning of the game, and I think it would have quelled the tempo a little bit. And it's good to put the opposition on edge. If that was Liverpool, I feel like we would have gotten that card shown. And we've been up against some of these calls. They're not consistent league to cup competition, but still, that was a big moment in the game, and I think would have put LASK on the back foot with some of these challenges and even just their overall gameplay. I don't know if you guys feel the same. I felt like it's one of them ones where we needed that to be a yellow to kind of just let them man know, yo, chill out, man. So that way our players feel more protected and can be able to express themselves. But that's just what I saw. That's just what I thought about it. I think it was reckless right off the jump, and the ref should have handled it a little bit better.
Now, some great points. We're going to finish it up anyway, and I agree with, because I tweeted. I'm not going to tell you what I tweeted. I'm going to make sure you listen to us while you're off. But listen, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Captain, look after yourself. Stay safe. Stay blessed. I thought the referee was reckless, man. And when I mean reckless, I mean like he wanted war on the pitch, man. Like there was both sides, and the pitch didn't help. I was really worried about players getting injured, you know that, because they were up for it, like we said, and quite a few physically imposing players on their side. He was letting go of a few, isn't it? I know Gravenberch gets hauled off at the end. Apparently, someone said since then, Jurgen Klopp has said it was cramp, which is amazingly good news. We didn't want any bad news from that front. But the third goal, Mohamed Salah comes on, and it's like Keith put in our WhatsApp group, it's like year 11 versus year 7. He took the piss, isn't it? Like he said, yo, this is not my level, but I'm going to keep it humble.
Yeah, I mean, we just spoke about Szoboszlai coming on the pitch and just going, look, we're better than this. I'm better than this. Let me just show you what the actual lever is. Salah come on the pitch and went, yeah, I'm going to up that again. Because he come on the pitch and, my God, he was
one of the best cameos I've seen in a long time, you know.
Honestly, it was like, he was just, you could just tell it was just men against boys at this stage for Salah. Like, he was just picking up the ball. He was going by people if he wanted to go by people. He was spraying passes outside of the foot if he wanted to do that. And the accuracy was almost inch perfect. And then he's just running into the goal that he scores, he's just like, yeah, I'm going to tap it inside and just roll it through his legs. I'm not squaring it. What am I squaring it for? I can score.
But the thing is, right? Last request for likes, guys. We're finishing up now. Just a few minutes left. Smash the like button if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. Do you know what it is, Cav? I think he was fed up of, because before that he had like done the most audacious, again, that trademark outside of the passes, and we had finished. We missed the chance, or the defender just got there. He was fed up of becoming assist king. He just reminded everyone, like, do you know how many goals I've scored? Like, how many goals I score as well. So I think he was fed up. I thought, hey, let me just score this one and just, everyone's talking about my assists. I'm a goal scorer as well.
Yeah, it was a bit like that, because this guy don't start on the bench. He's thinking, he sat on the bench, he's like, nah, cool, I'm better than this. Like, let me come on and just show you what you've seen, what life's like without me. Now let me show you what life is like with me. Okay, and he just comes on the pitch and it's still LASK. They're tired. The team's improved overall, fine. But you still got to come on and do it. This guy hit the outside of the foot pass like 2 times, right? Inch perfect. He's thought, okay, you've had enough of that. Out on the right wing, he plays a ball across the pitch into Diaz on his weaker foot. Off his right foot, he played this inch perfect pass. And after he did it, I was thinking, the only person I see doing that in this league is De Bruyne. That's the only person I've seen play that pass before. And this is Salah doing it, as well as being our incredible goal scorer. I thought, incredible. And look, I probably shouldn't get so excited because it's LASK and everything like that. Europa League, whatever. But just the quality, just the sheer quality of the man when he came on the pitch. It was just to be able, it doesn't matter if no one else is on that pitch, to hit the ball outside of the foot and find your man is still quality.
Listen, you tried doing that exactly. You tried doing that on a carpet with no pressure. You would still take 3 or 4 takes. Do you know what I mean? He just did it, like, as we've discussed, the pitch, the bobble of the bounce, the everything else, the pressure. It didn't matter to him and Szoboszlai. But listen, we move 3-1. I think our aim is just going to be try to, apparently, guys, confirm with me it was a draw in the other game in our group, which again is a lovely bit of bonus, because we just want to be clear after 3-4 games where the league's won, and then we can focus on the league when it comes to the last hopefully last 3 games of the league in this group. I want the league. Basically, I want this group 1. But listen, it's a great start. It's a great start. Well, I say it's a great ending. The start was a bit rough. Great ending. We move on to West Ham, anticipating how many changes? 7?
7?
6, 7?
Wait, who blew? Everyone bar.
Well, Virgil and Khanage going to
3.
start.
Virgil, Khanage, and Diaz should start. But Diaz, I mean, you said it earlier. Diaz played 90 minutes. That was a bit of a surprise.
I was very surprised.
Because he is, I know we have options there in both Jota and Gakpo. For me, Diaz is the starter in coming weekend. I'd have pulled him off earlier.
The only thing, and look, I don't want to end on it. Well, it's nothing to be disappointed about because they're fucking brilliant players in their own right. But the way we finished the game suggests to me it's going to be Gakpo and Jota and Salah starting up front. The midfield's going to pick itself. Curtis Jones, Szoboszlai, and Mac are going to come back in, and the back 4, barring Trent's recovery, is going to be Gomez and Robertson coming in. Yeah. It's just that Gakpo. It's just that 4, isn't it? So Mohamed Salah's there, and it's going to be picking the 2 others. Nunes hasn't done any harm. I know you're saying Gakpo hasn't been great,
but that's exactly what I was just going to say. Gakpo last time out, I know he gets his goal, but he wasn't great either. I think you could go with either. I think be it West Ham, tool side, physical side.
Yeah.
Depends if you want that guy to drop in deep or you want the guy to be on the shoulder. I don't know.
I mean, looking at their team tonight, they've pretty much picked a strong 11. They've just left out Antonio, who's had a few things to say during the week, so that should be fun and interesting. But look, we'll discuss that. Hopefully, I've got someone asked earlier, have I got the call-in show? Yes, there is a plan. Daz, I'm planning to do the call-in show this Saturday, which will be a preview, of course, amongst other things. But yeah, that's where we're going to end it, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have, smash the like button. If you haven't, just be a hypocrite and still smash the like button because you're still here. You know what I mean? If you're still here, that means either you're a weirdo, you just sat here for the sake of it, or you've enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed it, show your appreciation. Hit the like button. We'd appreciate it. Thank you so much for the love. Cav, see you on a Sunday, hopefully. Another 3 vital points. It's a huge... It's game week 6. It's West Ham at home. But momentum is massive, right? It's key.
Absolutely. And if it tells a story that something might be building here. We might be, people don't want to say it. I've certainly said it. I think we might be in a title charge this season. So if a game week 6 is already so important, it's a bit suggestive that, there might be something on the line for this.
There's another great weekend in store. People, thank you very much. Road to Dublin started tonight. Remember the date. Remember the time. Over and out. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers.